The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape on October 5th, 2022, episode number 543. That's 543. Phish and Chips today. My name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, aka the Cabana Boy, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomena, prayer. Just prayer. Pray for Basil. He's not in today. He's not feeling well. He had some stuff come up and not doing too great. So he was concerned about some stuff, but I'm just going to go ahead and read you his message, which he sent me earlier. He said, "The philodendron ponders violence. The iris fears the two. A treasure lands. A pittance leaves. The story comes unglued." Yeah, that's a message to the producers from Basil. So if you're a first-time listener and you have no idea what's going on, that's okay. I don't think any of us knows what's going on anymore. But let's dive right in. We have a rundown of what's going to be covered today.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
And yeah, again, Basil's out. I'll cover for him. We are going to start off with some beast system stuff, microchips in hands. We've talked about it before, but there's another recent story that's been kicking around the mainstream. Then we will talk about Nanoracks in space for our FLIPPY update, which we will also sort of review some things that we have covered in the last couple episodes and try to tie some things together. Then we have a little bit of CRISPR news, some DNA news, just some updates that I think are important. Then we'll go to Russia, Ukraine, and of course World War III unfolding all right before our eyes. And then later we will talk about virtual children to replace real kids by 2050 to help with overpopulation. That's a really interesting conversation to have there. Also some cyborg stuff. And what else? The Pope and pop culture and Yeezy. Yeah, it all comes together. It's all one big thing. And then later on, we will do a quick COVID update to wrap up the show today and try to just get through stuff. Doing solo, running everything can be a little tasking on my end, but I'll do my best. And so yeah, there you go. Let's get started with the show with our beast system.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
This is from DailyMail.co.uk, and the headline is Woman who married a tech genius reveals her husband implanted a chip in her hand, which serves as a key to their mansion. Oh, good. He married a tech genius, and then he forced her? What kind of chauvinistic nonsense is this? I don't know. Here's what it says. A woman who is married to a tech genius has revealed that her husband implanted a chip in her hand, which serves as a key to their lavish mansion, leaving many people on the web intrigued. Burgundy Waller from Las Vegas got a tiny chip put inside her hand back in June 2020, which made it so that she can unlock the doors and drawers throughout her home by simply touching them. That's been the entry point, the adoption language. It's always been about unlocking doors, and the key thing is really the easiest way to get people to accept this kind of thing. Burgundy, now known as the Chip Girl online, has created quite a stir on the internet, becoming a viral TikTok sensation and gaining more than 3 million followers for sharing some of the things that the chip can do. So good. TikTok. I'm sure the TikTok algo writers are thrilled about this one, and great. People like her. People want to follow her. People want to see what it's like to live with a microchip in your hand because, it's 2020, 2021, 2022, about time. And there's some photos here of her. There's a Band-Aid on her hand. I'm sure this is when she got it back in June 2020. And then her hand being held up to like a scanner for the door. And the article continues. The small device, which sits between her thumb and pointer finger, uses radio frequency identification to respond to different objects. RFID, folks, but they don't want to scare people, so they say radio frequency identification. Her husband has programmed it so that it can control practically everything in their enormous mansion, including the doors, drawers, closets, and pantries. Her husband programmed a microchip for his wife. I don't know. There's just so many things there. Burgundy has documented every step of her chip journey online, and she even captured the moment it was first implanted in her hand 2 years ago. It was inserted through a small incision by a medical professional. I don't know. I mean, it's in quotes because I think this is what she was saying, but also, the implications of, having quotes around medical professional, maybe revealing of the true nature of what's going on. And she admitted that it hurt, but said the pain only lasted for, quote, like 5 seconds. Yeah. Quote, my techie husband convinced me to get a chip in my hand, she began in the clip while showing her and her husband sitting together before the procedure. Quote, I'm getting chipped today with a key to our house. I am so freaking nervous, she said. It then showed her trying out the new device on her front door, which opened as soon as she touched her hand to the security system. Now, by the way, folks, how many of you out there listening, watching, has a scanner security system for the front of your house? Raise your hand if you're in the chat and you have one of these security things, because unless you're in some kind of apartment complex or some kind of community sort of setting, I don't think normal houses have that, unless you're, like a billionaire or at least multimillionaire tech guy who wants to microchip your wife. Quote, oh my gosh, my hand's a key. Are you kidding me? She said excitedly. Yeah, I'm sure it was more exciting when she actually said it. But yeah, here's some more photos of her talking about how she never has to carry a mic or a key anymore. Oh boy, more photos. Great. There's a part down here. In another TikTok, Burgundy explained that the main plus side is, quote, never having to carry or worry about losing her keys. Yeah, the most inconvenient thing in life, losing keys. It is inconvenient, but is it inconvenient enough to microchip your hand? I don't know. To make things even cooler, her husband has a more technologically advanced chip that can store all sorts of information, including social media accounts and websites. Does that make it really cooler, DailyMail? It's so cool. Her husband's got even more technologically advanced chips. This is like a sci-fi horror story here. She explained in another video that all he has to do is hold his chip up to someone's iPhone and it can pull up any website or app of his choosing. Another version of the chip can even store credit card information. Oh, interesting. Which means she would just have to tap her wrist to a payment machine to purchase something. And Burgundy admitted on her TikTok account that she wants it. Quote, "Not fair. I have the old model," she joked in another video. Quote, "My hand is only a key. Guess it's time for an upgrade." We've been talking about these developments for a decade. And, I think 10 years ago, you tell someone walking around, hey, they're going to be microchipping people, your tech geniuses' wives, and they're going to be really, really pumped about it. I think most people would have said, nah, I don't think people are going to accept that. There's just no way people are going to accept it. But you can tell that public mindset has been manipulated pretty heavily in the last decade, and it's gotten to a place where these things, can be projected. And I think the media knows that it's a divisive topic, which is why they publish it like this, where it's like, yep, microchip in hand. We definitely want that for the masses, but we can't really say it ourselves. So we'll let TikTok influencers do it, and then we'll feature them in a story, and then we'll stir the debate, amongst the masses, and identify the ones that are against it, and call them Christian nationalists or something. It's all part of the agenda. But having a chip for payment purposes, of course, it's going to remind everybody of Revelation 13. And I think that's also the point, is that this is going to be an open thing. It's not going to be so hidden, the mark of the beast concept or the fulfillment of it. Revelation 13, I got a lot of stuff highlighted here, but down towards the bottom there, verse 16, and the second beast required all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. And look, I'm not saying that this microchip is the mark of the beast. Clearly, it's an old version. It's just a key. This lady wants a Burgundy Waller wants the upgrade so she can buy and sell stuff. So it's a higher level of or more advanced version that might actually be the fulfillment there. But clearly, I think that's the point. The point is that it's going to be very apparent what direction this is all headed, and it's supposed to divide and conquer the public. And perhaps one of the final sort of social and societal issues will be the microchipping and the DNA upgrade and transhumanism, basically, the thing I've been ranting and raving about for the last 10 years, because, doing the duty of a watchman, you see what's coming and you're like, well, this is big. This is, if the secularists are saying, hey, this is going to change humanity forever, then pay attention, because there is a time written in an ancient document that reveals that this type of thing was going to unfold to begin with. So there should be no surprise here. It's, what side of history are you going to be on when it's all said and done? But yeah, not much else to say about this one. What happens if she wants to divorce this guy? This tech genius is going to have all kinds of data on her, and I don't know. This is not headed in a good direction, no matter what, at the personal level or the societal level. So, all right, let's see. What do we usually do next? Oh yeah, we tell you what day it is. What day is it today? Anybody know? Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Sucker. Yeehaw!
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday. We are here. We're plugging along here, doing it solo, and yeah, you appreciate the presence of Basil when you got to do the show solo because it creates space for me to breathe and focus on some of the buttons I have to press. But nevertheless, we are here. We're doing it, and I don't really have anything on the personal level. I read you the note from Basil. And, I don't know if there's anything. He's annoyed about something. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it. I don't know. I don't know anymore. So please pray for him. And that's about it for that. I do want to check something real quick because we are going to thank our executive producer. We're just going to get right to it here.
Executive producers.
We have executive producers who come in at $100 or more. We operate on a value for value model, which means that we don't take any advertising. We don't sell products. We don't do any of the things that traditionally, not traditionally, I guess, the mainstreaming of podcasting came via the vehicle of advertisements and, advertising in general. And we just didn't want to participate in that wave, the takeover, which clearly is, much more powerful as we move along. And, the different platforms like PayPal start to lock down on some of the speech issues and whatnot. We are very proud, I would say, the community as a whole, to keep this thing going and doing it completely independently. And that means, really no big time corporations or big time financiers in terms of some globalist coming in saying like, here's a few $1 million to make you guys say this or whatever. We're just not going to deal with that. We're not going to even consider that. So really the community has taken hold, and this is your show as much as anybody else's. The Lord speaks through all of you. So all right, we want to thank executive producers, which again, they come in at over $100 per episode, and we're very grateful for them. Although today, no executive producers. And as I look up at the monitor here, saying how there's 0 executive producers, I'm looking at the Twitter feed on Canary Cry Radio or canarycry.party, and 0 viewers. So it's more of a, an emotion or attitude thing on my part, the psychology of knowing that there's people watching or listening. And I know there's people listening and watching. I'm not discounting that, but just the psychological thing of looking at a number and seeing it 0 people watching, it does something to you. But in any case, no executive producers today. It's not too late to come in. You can always go to canarycryradio.com/support to support us.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And I guess that is it for, you know what? Let me talk about this real quick. This part of the show sometimes has been bumpy in general. So for me to be solo on it is even more bumpy. So I apologize. But I want to talk about meetups real quick. Meetups. Come on.
Canary Cry Meetups.
Go to canarycrymeetups.com and you will see a list of meetups that's happening all over the world. The next one is, what happened here? I think I was, do I need to refresh this? Let me do a quick refresh to find out, because I was updating the page earlier today. Yeah, there we go. October 5th through 8th. So starting today, Rogers, Arkansas, the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. It's underway. Maybe there are some folks listening live who are at this meetup. So if you're in that area, definitely check it out. Contact sundance8910@gmail.com to hang out and find the people there over at the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue in Rogers, Arkansas. The Canary Cry meetup happening over the next few days here. And then October 15th, Bald Eagle State Forest, Pennsylvania. And there are more, Ottawa, and so on. We'll cover more later on, but yeah, definitely check out canarycrimemeetups.com. It's part of the show that's, we're just trying to address some of the things that we get asked the most, which is, do you know anybody who lives in fill in the blank that talks about these issues? And so we just want to connect people and, create your own group of fellow people that you know you can contact when things go awry. So canarycrimemeetups.com. We'll see you there.
This is fun! See you at the meetup.
Let's get into the Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
This is the Flippy update. Oh no, I'm supposed to do a whole thing with it. It's Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use Flippy to discuss, we've been talking about Flippy since 2016, 17, somewhere around there when they first started. We use Flippy to discuss how the robots are taking over everything, and now there's nothing we can do about it until Jesus returns. And today, we're going to go to space.com. We're going to space. And the article is titled, Nanoracks tests tech to slice up space junk in orbit for first time. Now, okay, Nanoracks. Sounds good. A robotic arm softened up metal in space in an aim to address the growing space debris problem. Now, debris problem up there, almost as if there's some kind of wall or barrier. A historic experiment eroded metal for the first time in space. A SpaceX rideshare flight recently hosted a robot that softened up metal through friction, demonstrating a technique that can one day be used against rogue space debris or alien spacecraft. With tens of thousands of pieces floating around in orbit and more satellites launched into low Earth orbit by the day, the U.S. government and private companies alike are seeking more solutions to protect the zone from cluttering up too much for space exploration. NASA, Congress, and the Federal Communications Commission have all released new frameworks addressing space debris in the recent weeks. The technique demonstrated on the Transporter 5 mission earlier this year is called friction milling, quote, which uses a cutting tool operating at high rotations per minute to soften the metal. Experiment host Nanoracks wrote in a recent statement, and then parenthetical, the robotic arm and samples were completely sealed up in this experiment as a further precaution against generating new space debris. Which I thought was interesting to include in there, the mention of the robot arm, so we know what it looks like, but also this kind of woke thing where they're like, don't worry, we weren't creating more space debris. Obviously, we took precautions against such absurd notions. Nanoracks, which hosts U.S. experiments aboard the International Space Station, is aiming to develop a series of outpost stations that would host payloads aboard expired rocket stages in the near future, but this first demonstration took place aboard a rideshare rocket. I guess there's a little video that shows some of this in action. It's not really that interesting, to be honest. I did check it out, but yeah, not much there. There's still more to learn for future outpost missions, emphasized the participating entities, which included Nanoracks, Voyager, and Maxar, which provided the robotic arm. The mission met its goal in cutting up a single coupon, or sample, of corrosion-resistant steel similar to what is found on the outside of the United Launch Alliance Vulcan Centaur rocket. But the robot didn't make it to 2 extra coupons available as a reach goal. So, yeah, they didn't quite reach their goal, but hey, the robot arm with a mill at the end, which is, again, I'm not trying to, say anything, any kind of true connection there, but I just find it interesting. Friction milling, you look up sort of the mill, and you talk about in the book of Revelation, it talks a few times about the millstone. Let me just look it up just to have it, the exact passage here. Yeah, Revelation 18:21, which in the ESV, then a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and threw it into the sea, saying, so will Babylon the great city be thrown down with violence and will be found no more. So, yeah, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that they have a robotic arm in space that does milling to scrap up metal or something in space, I guess. And there was some other people that were messaging us about the story we covered in the last Flippy update, which was, of course, the plant-brained machete-wielding robot arm, which I have a video showing here that's a little bit more terrifying than what we did cover the machete arm robot, but I don't think we showed video of it in the last episode, at least for the viewers. And it looks ridiculous. But in any case, if you consider that, we talked about the cherubim guarding the garden, with the flashing sword, that kind of thing. And then, consider the fact that Science Daily, this is a few months ago, reported KIT research use CRISPR-Cas to suppress chromosomes and prevent genetic change. And in this study, basically, they did some gene editing on some plants, and they just CRISPR'd Cas9 genetic engineering on some plants. But of course, you connect the plant to a robotic arm. It's got the ability to wield a machete. You give it some kind of drill. It can go out into space and knock out some debris. This thing is just coming alive. It's all coming together. Anyway, just kind of some fun there. But in general, this type of thing, we're seeing more and more of the robot arm being applied in these frontier places, whether it be genetics or space. And that's why we've been covering Flippy for so long. It's sort of a natural part of the robotic rise, and it's a good indicator as to where we're headed and already where we've been. We've seen the unfolding for quite some time now, and it's only going to continue to grow, especially as so many people are just work from home now, work remote. Nobody's in the factories. What are we going to do? How are we going to continue to produce products? Well, you can just buy an army of robot arms. And so the more applications, the higher the ceiling of application of the robotic arm, the more ubiquitous it'll become for the general masses, the public at large. They can, if it's shredding metal up in space, surely it can, carve out some aluminum for cars and stuff, which they already do and stuff. So in any case, there you go. There's our Flippy update for today. And we're going to continue on here because we're going right into some CRISPR.
CRISPR. Cas9.
Some quick updates about CRISPR. We covered it extensively over the years, and we haven't done too much of an update recently because it is sort of there's some legal battles over the patents, and that's been sort of a thing. But in the meantime, there have been some developments. This is jacksonprogress-argus.com. I don't exactly know what the full outlet is, but it's myjpa.com. And the headline here, the next CRISPR gene editing IPO could be near. Prime Medicine, a third-generation CRISPR company, may test the choppy waters of the stock market with an IPO. So, yeah, just letting you all in on the awareness, just being aware of the next generation, the companies that are on the rise or at least trying to push the envelope when it comes to CRISPR-Cas9 technology. Prime is developing a third-generation DNA editing technology called Prime Editing. It's the only company to pursue the approach, which was developed in the academic laboratory of Dr. David Liu, the synthetic biology rock star. He's a rock star. He's not just a scientist. He's a rock star. Was a technical founder of the first-generation gene editing pioneer Editas Medicine, Edit, and second-generation base editing pioneer Beam Therapeutics. I remember Beam. So this is just the evolution of the technology and this guy rolling it into new companies. Hurt by operational missteps and poor execution, Editas Medicine coughed up a huge lead in first-generation CRISPR gene editing to latecomers. Beam has garnered a lot of attention, but boasts an underwhelming pipeline with considerable overlap to the competitive landscape. Could the third time be the charm for Liu? Then it goes into some investment stuff. So I was looking up the difference between first generation, second generation, third generation CRISPR. And it's basically, it's just more refined. Each generation becomes more precise in how you can edit. and specifically with the replacing the genes. The more specific you are in the ability to remove any kind of sequence, the more specific you can be in inserting new genetic information. So yeah, it's just higher pixelation basically for genetics and genetic engineering, which we knew was going to happen. It was just a matter of who is going to wield the technology to do so. And it's a competition when it comes to, because I think people see the frontier and the financial opportunities. If anything, I mean, you look at all of big pharma we've seen in this last iteration, I would say, that a company like Moderna, who did not have a product for a decade, have the opportunity to swoop in and become partners with the government openly and selectively to distribute a product. If you follow that pattern, seeing the genetic editing technology and the companies jarring for position, making sure that they are part of the next rise or the next pandemic, dare I say, of some kind, which, we know we saw what they wanted to do with the mRNA stuff. They wanted to provide a solution. So, the next time we have some kind of crisis, it may require some kind of genetic editing to withstand or to preserve humanity in some kind. And that'll be a very great debate, just as we have seen stir up in the last couple years. I would argue that this debate is going to be even more heated, and it'll mix in with politics, and it'll get pretty, it has the potential to be very nasty. And I only say that not as being a pessimist, just the matter of we are starting to talk about messing with our genetic makeup, and it just taps right into all of the spiritual issues, whether you are an atheist or a Christian or Hindu or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're starting to really tap into some deep philosophical and cosmological topics that define who we are. So just a heads up on that. Keep an eye out for Prime. Is that what they're called? Let me just double check here. Yeah, Prime Medicine is a company to keep an eye on. But that's not all, because, we've tracked on this show the woolly mammoth resurrection technology that this guy, I forget his name, has been talking about it for a while now. But this is Interesting Engineering. It's published at the end of September, so about a week ago. And the headline is CIA allegedly invested in powerful genetic mutation, woolly mammoth resurrection technology. And yeah, it sounds provocative for sure. And I love the header art here, which is the woolly mammoth just trapped in a giant block square of ice, although his face is outside of the ice, which maybe it means he is thus emerging again. But the article states here, the U.S. intelligence agency may have just, quote unquote, invested in a woolly mammoth resurrection technology through its venture capital firm. The CIA has always purchased technologies related to intelligence and weapons, but recently has shown a greater interest in DNA sequencing, according to a report published by The Intercept on Wednesday. That was last Wednesday. Colossal Biosciences, that's what it was. Colossal Biosciences is a biotechnology firm with headquarters in Dallas. Peter Thiel, Tony Robbins, Paris Hilton, Winklevoss Capital, and the CIA are just some well-known backers and investors that founders George Church and Ben Lamb have already accumulated. Wouldn't that be great? If you didn't have any kind of association with the CIA before Peter Thiel, Tony Robbins, Paris Hilton, Winklevoss twins, now you do. Now it's just out in the open. I wonder if this is like, maybe bittersweet for some of these guys, I mean, I can understand that maybe they were part of it from the beginning, but also, imagine if you're trying to be, your own thing, and then you're invested in some biotechnology company, and then the CIA just comes in. You're like, oh, great, thanks. Now we're just intelligence ops now. Quote, InQtel, its new investors registered as a nonprofit venture capital firm funded by the CIA. On its surface, the group funds technology startups with the potential to safeguard national security, read the report. So again, tying it back to sort of the story we just had with the new CRISPR tech. Government, intelligence, they don't just make moves for no reason. They're doing things for a reason. And why would you invest in the woolly mammoth resurrection technology company unless you had some kind of plan? Or the plan's already in place. Probably, I would say the execution of the distribution of the scaling, so to speak. They probably figured stuff out in laboratories and stuff like that. Well, how do we scale it to the general population? And that's been what they've been working for. And we saw how things might work during a worldwide lockdown pandemic. And they know it works. They know that they can get a lot of countries to agree with some of the things that the heads that nobody elected claim or, tell people to do. And so, compliance is high. And so, we can create the crisis and create the solution. And so why would they want to invest in the genetic mutation woolly mammoth resurrection technology? I don't know. Seems like something apocalyptic is on the way. And speaking of apocalyptic,
Russia.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
NewYorkPost.com. Putin deploys world's largest submarine with apocalypse drone capabilities. No, we're done for now. I feel like all the Russia-Ukraine stories are just kind of repeating. They have like a set of ideas and like a little blueprint on how to make this war happen. And they're just rinse and repeat. Here's what the New York Post says here. A military train that belongs to the forces responsible for Russia's nuclear arsenal has been spotted moving toward the front lines in Ukraine, while Moscow was said to have deployed the world's biggest submarine capable of carrying Apocalypse drone. These latest maneuvers could signal an increasingly desperate Vladimir Putin's willingness to escalate the war following a series of embarrassing defeats on the battlefield, including the loss of a key city in Donetsk and the most recent setback in the Kherson region. The pro-Russian Telegram channel Rybar shared on Sunday video showing a freight train hauling upgraded armored personnel carriers, APCs, and other sophisticated military equipment through central Russia. We've seen stuff like this in the U.S. too, which is why I'm always skeptical when I see stuff like this. It's like, okay, well, we have the same thing. Somebody in Telegram or some kind of social media will take video of some kind of convoy roll through some small town, and they're like, hey, what's this all about? What are they doing here? And I'm not saying that there's nothing there. Obviously, it's the military moving things around, but for what reason, all that kind of stuff can be easily sort of implied depending on the person reporting it and captioning some of these photos and videos. The APCs reportedly belong to the secretive 12th Mainstream Directorate of the Russian Ministry of Defense, which is responsible for maintaining the country's nuclear arsenal. So, yeah, there you go. They must be moving nukes. Putin must be afraid. Meanwhile, NATO warned its member states, including the U.S., that Russia's Belgorod nuclear submarine has left its base in the Arctic Circle, the Italian newspaper La Repubblica reported. No, an Italian newspaper reporting it now. Okay. Measuring more than 600 feet in length, the Belgorod is the largest submarine in the world. It is capable of carrying, quote-unquote, doomsday Poseidon nuclear torpedo drones, which, according to Russia, could trigger 1,600-foot nuclear tsunamis that would inundate coastal cities from hundreds of miles away and render them uninhabitable for decades. Belgorod, which only entered the Russian Navy's service in July, is regarded as, quote, the epitome of a new concept of warfare, and Poseidon is known as the, quote, weapon of the apocalypse. All right, so Putin has deployed the weapon of the apocalypse. And perhaps tying all the things together, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying that if they pull off some kind of explosion that causes some chemicals to spread, and, the only way it'll be sort of its own type of pandemic, the only way to withstand it is some kind of genetic padding. We need a genetic patch. And I mean patch in the way programmers use it, developers use it. in programming. You find a bug in the code, you got to patch it. Similarly, they're going to say, hey, the environment has changed, and we have this nuclear spill and these chemicals and whatnot. We need to shore up the human genome if we're going to survive these changes. And so, if you don't get it, then you're going to die. Same kind of deal. Quote, this nuclear mega torpedo is unique in the history of the world. American submarine expert H.I. Sutton wrote on his website Covert Shores in March, quote, Poseidon is a completely new category of weapon. It will reshape naval planning in both Russia and the West, leading to new requirements and new counter weapons. Then it goes into a bunch of stuff the U.S. has said and la-da-da-da-da. At the very end of the article, it says here in an interview on ABC's This Week on Sunday, former CIA director David Petraeus predicted that if Putin were to deploy nuclear weapons, the U.S. and other NATO members would destroy Russia's forces and sink the Black Sea Fleet. Okay, of course. And that story has its own media reporting, which I have here from CNBC. Ex-CIA chief's greatest concern in the Russia-Ukraine conflict is escalation spiraling out of control, in quotes. Of course, ex-CIA. Nobody's truly ex-CIA, are they? Especially if you're talking in the media. Come on. All right. The greatest worry for David Petraeus, a former CIA director and retired U.S. Army general concerning the war in Ukraine, is the potential for unbridled escalation that would result in catastrophic consequences, he told CNBC on Tuesday. Asked what his top concern was with regard to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, in which the U.S. is heavily supporting Ukraine to the tune of billions of dollars in military aid, Petraeus replied, quote, just as a general category, it's just the risk of it spiraling out of control. Quote, I think it is legitimate for U.S. leadership and for leadership of other countries to avoid starting World War III, as the phrase has been termed. Okay, who termed it? You? Are you terming it now? Are you basically saying this will start World War III? Are you talking about the media? Are you talking about the lizard people? Okay, so anyways, he's saying, hey, it'd be bad if the nation started World War III. Which, again, a little plausible deniability. These people want World War III. They are probably putting all the pieces together to make that a reality of some kind, or at least keep it some kind of keep the tension going, because tension creates change and so on. This article continues. Leaders in Ukraine and the West are grappling with Russian President Vladimir Putin's threat of using nuclear weapons. Uncertainty over the likelihood of such action hangs over decision making, even as Ukrainian forces stage bold counteroffensives in territory in Russia has illegally annexed. Or that Russia. Oh, okay. Yeah. Completely messed up that sentence, but it's because it's kind of irrelevant. It goes into just the talking points of, Ukraine good, Russia bad. But anytime you see ex-CIA in the news, just keep in mind, probably not ex. They got friends. I think about not just necessarily in some kind of official capacity, but just in the human experience, If you're part of an organization and you are surrounded by people that are part of that network, the intelligence network, you can retire, you can step down from certain positions, but your circle of friends are they're going to be people in intelligence, right? So it's not so much that there's some official capacity that we can verify, but it's very suspicious, and you always have to think that there's more to it than just some ex-CIA guy just randomly being interviewed on CNBC and talking about how it'd be so bad if all the nations out there started World War III. It'd be very bad, very bad. And the sun.co.uk also reports NATO warning as Putin deploys world's biggest submarine, which can be armed with terrifying nuclear apocalypse drone torpedoes. And this is kind of the same story again, but in any case, there isn't a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the Ukraine thing right now, just because we've sent them the money. Okay. We're saber rattling. Putin's mad. There's stuff being taken, but it's sort of just continued tensions. It's another story in the news. And, it's tough to really know exactly what's going on other than they definitely want it to continue, like the tension and the drama to continue. I sense some burnout out here in the West, but they definitely are going to keep moving forward with that. But one more aspect of this whole Ukraine-Russia thing, and I bring this from another CNBC.com article. Ukrainian ambassador tells Elon Musk to F off after billionaire infuriates nation with Twitter poll. And this is something that we talked about in the last episode where Elon Musk on Twitter ran a poll as sort of it wasn't openly supporting Russia, but it was sort of arguing for a redo of the whole Russian situation that's taking place in Ukraine. And I made the point that this is just a clear indication of where we're headed in terms of a worldwide democracy. And it's not going to be through the traditional channels of politics. It'll be more with social media and the tech giants and a poll, because there was like over 1.5 million people that voted. That's a lot of people. And so in any case, this is just, triggered one of the Ukrainian ambassadors. There's no surprise, but he should just relax. It's just Elon being Elon. He's grabbing attention. At least he's keeping the conversation going in the news. So you got to give it to him. So anyway, that is that. Let's take a break here and have a party. Go to canarycry.party. Canarycry.party is a website with a tree of links that connects you with all the things, where to watch, where to listen. Yeah, I got ran over by the jingle. It's okay. It's a place where you can find all the links, where to watch the show, where to listen to the show, subscribe, the email list, the text notifications. We're now on Rockfin. Oh no, did I forget to hit go live on Rockfin? I did. I hate this extra step. I just did it now. So we're live on Rockfin now. There's all these extra steps added whenever you jump on a different platforms. But we appreciate everybody who has been following us over there and even tipping in Ray token, RAE. I think that's the Rockfin crypto. So it's a ERC20, which means it was built on Ethereum. And so thank you very much for those of you who have supported in that way. But yeah, check it out. Also go to Ravel, go listen to Ravel. It's keep doing that. It's Basil's other podcast with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, where they talk about Scripture, society, and scandal. I think that's the tagline, but it's not my show. So if I messed it up, I'm sorry. But yes, go check it out. Great conversations. Lots of great stuff over there. So do that. Also go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. Both of those places, preserving the show through just clipping out the segments and topics instead of one big block of, a couple hours or 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes of show. That can be very taxing. So Canary Cry Clips is a good place to subscribe. Although, I know the upload sometimes can take over the timeline, but at least you'll know that they're all there, if you want to share something. So appreciate that. All right, let's take a quick break and thank some people.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
This is our break where we thank producers who come in and support the show. Yes, producers, not advertisers or advertisements or corporations or products or anything like that. This is powered by the people for real. And, even though it is, there are still barriers and oncoming challenges when it comes to independent media and maintaining some sort of economic ecosystem as the rails of how to support independent media continue to shift and change. It's going to put a lot of responsibility in each one of the listeners and producers' hands in terms of how you're going to manage all that. And so it's going to be a tough road ahead, but we're here and we're going to deal with it together. Okay. That's all I'll say, because, it's never easy to do, once you get comfortable doing something, but every once in a while, it's good to mix it up, good to change, good to research, good to read, good to get caught up in all the things you need to get caught up on so that you don't get left behind. So, all right. Yes. Producers. Sometimes I ramble when I'm doing solo. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This is crazy. Can't deal with this, Basil.
Can't deal with it right now, Basil.
I do have some Basil ISOs. Maybe I can use that as a moment to breathe. Let me try to find it here. I know I have some Basil stuff that I've put aside that, oh no, where'd it go? I used to have him. Let's see. Jeffrey Bezos. Oh, it's Bezos, not Basil. Oh, here we go. This is Basil.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The classic.
Gotta get that hype, bro.
There you go. It's getting that hype. All right. We're going to thank some producers who came in. We still didn't have any executive producers for this episode. That's okay. We appreciate all of you out there regardless. Just thank him now. We're going to start off with Sir Morv, Knight of the Burning Chariots, coming in with 11 and a 148 episode streak. Oops, this one. Yeah, thank you very much, Morv. And he has a note that says, "Happy WMD, my Canary family. Love y'all." Well, love y'all, Morv. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And yes, it is Wednesday. Hold on, let me see. My day jingle's ready. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
We also have Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, coming in. Thank you very much for 777. He has a note here. Oh, he's on a 203 episode streak, which means he's streakalicious.
Oh yeah, streakalicious.
I think he's our number 2 all-time streaker. Sir Casey, the Shield Knight. There's a note here. Happy Yom Kippur, Biblical Day of Atonement, an annual reminder for us to remember that Christ made the final blood sacrifice and offering on the cross in atonement for our sins. God bless you guys and the Canary verse. Thank you very much, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight. And yeah, it's important to remember atonement. It's an important topic in the word. All right, thank you very much. Next up, we have Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas, coming in $7.77 on a 53 episode streak. Here's a quick note here that says it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hope you have a great day. Thank you very much, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas. We also have Gail M., one of our streak sisters, coming in $7.77, 179 episodes in a row. Thank you very much, Gail M. She has a note. Hi, my sweets. Asking God to bless Basil with a quick recovery. In Jesus' name, amen. XXXXXXXX. Oh. Well, thank you very much, Gail M. And yes, we're all praying for Basil to feel better and to come back. It just gets better. It's better when he's around, So thank you very much. We also have, let's see, Jesse C. Thank you, Jesse C. Coming in. Oh, I don't know what this number. This is an interesting number. It's definitely not a round number. So $11.41. Thank you very much. And a note here that says, I'm listening, Gons. Oh, thank you, Jesse C. Appreciate you listening. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Jeremy G. I think. Yeah. Coming in with $7.77. Okay. Maybe I gave away too much. The note G33, pronounced G33. Second time producer, long time listener. I'm listening, brother. Thanks. When the world is running towards a cliff, he who runs in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind. C.S. Lewis. Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. Hey, maybe that's what's happening. Everyone's just falling off the cliff now, and we're just the smart ones who ran the other way. Like, hey, there's a cliff over there. People kept running, though. Thank you very much, G33. We also have... here we go. Oh, here we go. Sir Alex Protocol V2 Knight of the Berean Protocol on an 84 episode streak.
Tweakers.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
And is there a note attached here? He says, God bless. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
All right. 80, what was it? 84? I'm sorry. 84. Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol, Knight of the Berean. Knight of the Berean Protocol. Yes. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the producers who came in over the value number of $7.77, which entitles you to have a note read. There are folks who come in under, and that includes... Uh-oh, what did I do here? Wait a minute. Did I do something wrong? Oh, no. Wait a minute. I might have done something really wrong earlier in the thing here. This is why we need Basil around, because sometimes the documentation gets a little fuzzy. Let me double check something real quick, and it has to do with Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, and his streak. And Sir Casey, the Shield Knight is the... okay. Do I have this right? Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. Just trying to straighten something out here. Yeah, Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, has he's the streak. He's the king of streaks. Sorry, this is 214th episode in a row. Yeah, it wasn't 203, 214 for Sir Casey, the Shield Knight. Thank you very much. And I figured that out because Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, comes in. Thank you very much, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth. 203 episodes in a row.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
And also Veronica D, our other streak sister, 179 episodes in a row.
Women rule.
Women do rule. All right, that does it. Gail M will do the knighting for you again when Basil gets back. I just want to make sure that you're aware that we are aware that we owe you a knighting, and it will happen. But yeah, once Basil is healthy and ready to go, we will make that happen. So, all right, let's wake up. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving. And here we go. Let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Let's talk about... What are we talking about? Space? Oh, no. Beast system. More beast system.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
dailystar.co.uk, the headline, Virtual Children to Replace Real Kids by 2050 and, quote, help with overpopulation. Wow. I don't want to say we told you so, but this is one of those headlines where,
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell you for a long time, folks. This sort of thing is possible. It did remind me of, and I've mentioned this story over and over again. Go check it out. It's a fictional story written by Matthew Mather, I believe, and it is titled Atopia Chronicles. And one of the big themes you can get it as an audiobook on Audible or something. One of the big themes is the idea of virtual children. It is a big topic in the story. So, yeah, just keeping that in mind. Here's what the article says. Virtual kids born in the metaverse could become more common in the next 50 years, according to an AI expert. Author Catriona Campbell believes parents will want to care for digital children in virtual reality using a headset to feel like they're really there with the CGI kid. These virtual kids would just be like the real thing, but could be switched off the touch of a button. And Campbell argues they'll help the world deal with, quote, overpopulation. Oh, that's a convenient side effect. Oh, man. In a book released this year, Campbell says the Tamagotchi generation will be born and be available to parents for a small monthly fee. Wow. Yeah. Man, we all saw it coming, didn't we? In the book, she says, quote, virtual children may seem like a giant leap from where we are now, but within 50 years, technology will have advanced to such an extent that babies which exist in the metaverse are indistinct from those in the real world. She adds, quote, we're already well on our way to creating the Tamagotchi generation, which, for all intents and purposes, will be, quote unquote, real to their parents. On the basis that consumer demand is there, which I think it will be, AI children will become widely available for a relatively small monthly fee. AI children. No more excuses. I can't have any children. Well, you can have an AI child. Oh, like the movies? No, not like the movies at all. The idea that the world will become dangerously overpopulated is not supported by data. Oh, good for you, Daily Star. Bravo, Daily Star. Although the global population is set to continue increasing over the next century, it is due to eventually flatten and slow down. Yeah, especially if they keep pushing some of the agendas they're pushing now. This is already happening in countries in the West, including Britain, which have aging populations and declining birth rates. In the UK, that means the population is set to decline by 2025 and begin shrinking, which will lead to many unfilled jobs. Population growth tends to slow in post-industrial societies as contraception becomes more readily available and more women enter the workforce. One estimate suggests you could fit the entirety of the world's population in an area the size of Los Angeles, although it would obviously not be very comfortable. Put simply, it's unlikely that virtual children will replace the real deal anytime soon. Thanks. I love the logic here. It's like, well, it's not going to happen because we're not going to have overpopulation. It's sort of like, that's funny because, they're saying, first they're saying like, oh, it could help with the overpopulation problem. But no, it's not, because we're not overpopulating, because we already pulled off the, eugenics thing. We already did it, you see. We don't need to do more. We've already done it. It's just kind of a funny admission in a sense that, we there is no overpopulation. We've already curtailed it. Look at UK. It's all declining. So, the virtual children thing, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Although, probably would help in their view, It's like, hey, if you want virtual children for a small fee, why not? Sure. So, yeah, it's a kind of a disturbing thing. And yes, it is a theme in that book, Atopia Chronicles, where one of the main characters, the wife, basically has children in one of the virtual realms. And that's something that the book talks about, which I think sounds ridiculous now, but it probably will happen. And that's this idea of proxies. And so think of it this way. We're going to have digital twins, right? We're going to have our digital sort of selves, a copy version, a bot version of ourselves out there on the internet doing things. And it'll kind of be our little workhorse. Like, I program it to do this certain type of thing, and then it just goes out there and does it, whether it be through chat or anything. And that's going to happen, folks. I mean, I know that we've talked about it before, and we've tried to kind of stay ahead of it. But that will happen. Every person on the internet, all these influencers will have a digital copy. But in that, they're in the story Atopia Chronicles, they have these proxies where they make a copy of themselves, and then the copy is able to attend different events, different virtual worlds, different meetings, even take over the physical body, where in your mind, you're at some conference in the metaverse with Mark Zuckerberg talking about some, business deal, but your body is just going through the day to day. Make sure you go to the restroom, eat some food, get some sleep. It's sort of the auto the automation is programmed into the physical body, whereas your actual mind gets to sort of roam in the virtual realms. And again, in the story Utopia Chronicles, the wife has a proxy that she goes back to in person every once in a while that kept these children, these virtual children, and her husband didn't know about it. So that was kind of the big thing. And it brings up the ethical question. Hey, it's not real children. But also, she didn't tell her husband that she was living this whole different life with all these virtual children in that other realm. Is that unethical? And it just brings up all these interesting questions. It really shatters our paradigm when you talk about ethics and morals and the implications. Now, I think as biblical Christians, we're pretty straightforward on how this stuff is part of the unfolding plan of God, and he's going to solve it eventually. But it's supposed to get pretty messy. And I see that with all of this technology and all of it happening because, I've talked about it before, how in the book of Revelation, and the recovery, the true big biblical restoration happens with a new heaven and a new earth, which means old heaven, old earth, something wrong happens. Something goes terribly wrong. So, just keeping that in mind. That's why none of this surprises me, and I know none of it surprises all of you guys out there as well. All right, so the virtual children thing, obviously very interesting. Let's talk a little bit about space, but more importantly, the Space Pope Reptilian.
Space Pope Reptilian.
And I'm going to start with some beast fashion here.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a beast, but making it fashion.
Beast.
But then make it fashion.
Oh, I forgot about one more thing real quick. Just sorry, Clippies. This is going to mess up the clips. That's okay. Just real quick. This is from digitaljournal.com. 18-year-old cyborg Josh Universe seeks to expand humanity's influence into space and biohacking. Just sort of to put a nail in the argument, today about where we're headed. There's an 18-year-old cyborg named Josh Universe, and he started the Celestial Institute. And it says here, quote, "I'm working on a company called the Celestial Institute, where I research these topics and ultimately hope to publish them as papers and speak worldwide to ensure the world takes a step in the right direction when approaching space." And I went to the website, and not a great start to the Celestial Institute. A lot of coming soon. A lot of, things being built, although there is a little bio on Josh Universe, and he wants to operate. He's currently a sophomore at the Florida Institute of Technology, specializing in astrophysics. So he's doing all the right education. He also operates MNN, which is the Multiverse News Network, also Stardash and StarMart, StarPass, and the Biohacking Community, and a few other things here and there. So, if he's being featured or just his name being thrown out there in this capacity, keep an eye on him. There's young people being lured into this whole cyborgism, which has been sort of thematic throughout this episode today. All right, now we go to the Pope, and we also talk about beast fashion. Let me do the jingles again just to keep it clean here.
Space Pope Reptilian.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a
beast,
but making it fashion.
Beast.
But then make it fashion.
And NSSmag.com headline, "What does the Pope have to do with Yeezy's show?" Yeah, good question. And this is obviously a fashion article here, but it says the Yeezy Season 9 fashion show held yesterday in Paris was as polarizing as only Kanye West can be. But aside from an opening monologue full of Pindaric flights, a chorus of children, probably from Donda Academy, including North and Chicago, and a plethora of celebrities disguised under layers of clothes and silicone headphones to simulate baldness, the real scandal was the shirt worn by Kanye at the event. A simple black t-shirt paired with a simple black t-shirt paired with a pair of strictly socked Burberry flip-flops. On the front, the big face of Pope John Paul II. And on the back, the words, "White Lives Matter." classified by the Anti-Defamation League as a hate slogan and a symbol used by white supremacist groups such as the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Renaissance Society. Yeah, Kanye West really stirring things up over there in Paris. But yeah, so I'll read a little bit more from this article because it is interesting. Candace Owens, a conservative activist and founder of Blexit, wore the same t-shirt in a white version and with the same message on the back. But beyond Ye's motives for spreading such a slogan and a fondness for controversial phrases that go back to the days of the Trump campaign, another interesting fact is Ye's interpretation of a rather rampant trend in the past few catwalks. Churchcore. Ooh, churchcore. Not only worn by Ye and Owens, but t-shirts featuring Pope Wojtyla have also paraded down the catwalk, evoking all the tacky chic appeal of the Jubilee merch of the 2000s, one of the most important events for Catholics around the world. T-shirts are reminiscent of the gadgets you can buy at any rock band's concerts, shoddy graphics and loud fonts found on Vinted, Etsy, eBay, along with original envelopes, stamps, scarves, coins, and all those items that have increased the cult for the popes over the years, elevating them to a status of true pop stars. The Pope as the pop star. And yeah, we know, at least those in this show, we've talked about the Pope not as a legit leader of the people, but, I'm not going to say anything personally bad about the guy. I'm just saying his sort of worldview, what he's doing in terms of his messaging and comparing it to the word by itself seems to be some issues, some problems. But the Pope being a part of pop culture is important, especially as the anti-culture, the conservative movement continues. It's sort of for Ye, I'm saying it wrong, Yeezy, whatever. For him to do the White Lives Matter thing as a trigger for, the left conservative or the liberal leftist progressives to do so, and to do it with the Pope as it's sort of signaling, the conservative virtue signaling going on here. It's important to point out because it is part of the sort of the manufactured alternative movement. And then when you have, popular people like Candace Owens and Ye represent that, it does influence a large swath of the population who identify and solely relate to influencers and musicians and things of that nature in culture. So it's just very interesting how the Pope is at the front and center of Ye's sort of spiritual commentary as it comes to his protests with his shirts and runway stuff, appearances and whatnot. But the Pope is busy doing other stuff too. Fox News reports Pope Francis, Apple CEO Tim Cook meet in private Vatican sit down. Okay, so the Pope meets Tim Cook. Important stuff. What are they talking about? The pontiff hosted the tech titan at the Vatican, the latest business mogul to request an audience with the Pope after a headline-making meeting with Elon Musk. So Tim Cook was like, hey, hold on. You're meeting with Elon? Now you got to meet with me. Come on. Can't meet with Elon and not meet with me. Quote, this morning, the Holy Father Francis received in audience Mr. Timothy Donald Cook, Chief Executive Officer of Apple, the Vatican published in its official diary of papal audiences. The specifics of the discussion have not been disclosed, although many have speculated that artificial intelligence is at the forefront of both leaders' minds. Okay, the Pope talking AI with Tim Cook of Apple. What could possibly go wrong? Pope Francis has previously spoken about the benefits and dangers of AI technology, an industry in which Apple has aggressively funded research. The Pope asked Catholics worldwide in 2020 to pray, quote, that the progress of robotics and artificial intelligence may always serve humankind. Interesting thing to tell the church to pray about. Pray, Catholic Church. Pray that the progress of robots and AI always serves mankind. Because if it doesn't, well, what are the implications, Pope? What are you saying? What could go wrong? What's the alternative? Why do we have to pray that the progress serves mankind? What do you know? Cook has been in Italy since September, yada, yada, yada. We know about it. And there's a picture here with the Pope and Elon and the whole deal there. And then Holy Father met Elon Musk in July. There's a photo op with Tim Cook. Oh, yeah, this was interesting, too. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California, Representative Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, and Rep. Tim McClintock, another Republican from California, were among those who attended the Capitol Hill meeting on Wednesday. According to a source, the group discussed big tech censorship and what Republicans see as a bias against conservatives. Issues surrounding China and privacy were also discussed. Okay, good. All right, so anyway, the Pope talking with Tim Cook, talking AI. Very interesting. But he's not done. The Pope also putting out a documentary on YouTube. I'm sure it's not going to get censored because, it's the Pope. Can't censor the Pope. Variety.com, Pope Francis YouTube doc, The Letter, A Message for Our Earth, launches from Vatican City. Trailer. All right. So YouTube is launching an original documentary, The Letter, A Message for Our Earth, an unprecedented call to action for climate change from Pope Francis, featuring his dialogues with activists from the Brazilian Amazon, India, Senegal, and the U.S., launched on Tuesday from Vatican City. Is it? Okay. What does that mean? If you're publishing it on YouTube, I mean, okay, did they upload it from Vatican City? Is that what the whole hubbub is? Or just it's just weird how they're like, they launched it from Vatican City. They hit publish. Vatican headquarters, apparently. The IP address matched the Vatican. What's going on here? The high-profile ecological doc is directed by Emmy-winning director Nicholas Brown, Serengeti Rules, and produced by Off the Fence, the company behind Oscar-winning doc My Octopus Teacher, in tandem with the Laudato Si movement, with which is a global Catholic climate change organization. And it goes into some of the detail about the documentary. So if you see it on YouTube there, maybe you can check it out, see what the Pope wants to say to you about climate change. Because, the AI, the robots, the robots are going to help us, right? It's going to serve humanity when climate change gets out of hand. So there you go. But he's not done, folks. Consulting.us headline, Pope Francis meets with Deloitte leaders in Vatican. This is a few weeks ago, I guess. September 22nd is when this happened. October 4th was when it was reported. Oh boy, my mouse is starting to die. It says here, the meeting with the Pope was attended by approximately 500 senior Deloitters, including global CEO Planet Rengen, who were in Rome for Deloitte's World Meeting 2022, which gathers Deloitte's leaders to highlight and discuss strategy, innovation, and key achievement. Now, for those of you who don't know, Deloitte is a big sort of IT audit company, like a compliance company. So if you're a big corporation or manufacturer or something like that, you partner with a Deloitte, and Deloitte's job, if I'm not mistaken, Deloitte's job is to audit the company and all their processes so that they're not breaking any laws or rules, or to make sure they're compliant with all of the legal stuff, the legal framework for conducting business. So I'm sure if anybody is in the corporate world in any capacity, they have heard of Deloitte. So yay, Deloitte, for meeting with the Vatican and the Pope. I don't know what they could be discussing. The meeting is the first time Pope Francis has given a private audience to a private company. Oh, interesting. The Pope never really talked to a private company before. Huh? That's interesting. Pope Francis urged Deloitte to effect positive change in the world through its influential consulting work, which helps guide corporate and government policies globally. They say it right there, how much power a company like Deloitte has. The Pope outlined 3 ways for consultants to, quote, strive for a more human, just, and fraternal world. Right, okay. He wants the whole world to be one big fraternity. He wants everybody to be part of the Masons. You get a square and compass. You get a square and compass. You get a square and compass. He wants everybody to be a part of it, folks. Right? Kind of like in Revelation chapter 13. It required all people, small, great, rich, poor, free, and slave. You know, you get a mark. You get a mark. You get a mark. So that's where we're at, folks. All right. And yes, I had the Deloitte website pulled up here. Business leadership in an age of disruption. Deloitte pointing out the age of disruption, which I guess they're leading. And they have an icon here. It's that classic icon where it's a brain, but you know, one side is like a human brain and the other side is like a computer brain. So yeah, nothing to see here, folks. Just some transhumanism, beast system technology being developed. But, you know, it's the Pope. The Pope's not trying to harm anybody. He's a good man trying to be the vicar of Christ. He's Christ on earth, everybody. He means well. I'm going to get in trouble. It's the kind of stuff that gets me in trouble. All right, let's thank a few more of our producers who come in with their talent. Break.
It's break time!
This is break. Don't just consume the content, but
Become the content. Become the content.
Take a break.
we all have gifts from God, and sometimes it comes in the form of talent. And if you would like, please contribute your talent to the show. Help build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. It really is, you know, you guys creating that culture, creating the vibe here. And all we ask is that you, whatever you do, whatever medium of art you choose, that you do it for the show exclusively. And that's just our only request. But we thank all of you for contributing with your talents. First off, real quick. Oh, before we do that, sorry. First off, real quick, SpeakPipe.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com and you will see a green tab either on the right side or the bottom of the page. And oh boy, oh no, oh my gosh, my own apocalypse happening over here on my soundboard and everything. Yeah, if you go there, click the button, click the green tab, it'll pop up a little pop-up that you can record a voice message. And if you record a message of up to 90 seconds, it gives us, what's the Basil's line there? I always forget. That's why when he's not around, I shouldn't be trying to make all the things here. Yeah, just we'll play it or not. Gives us the ability to do either. Okay. Anyway, we have one message today, and it's from our friend Rochelle.
Thank you, Canary Cry team. You guys are so amazing. I got a request from my friend Johnny for Job 37, 1-13. At this my heart pounds and leap from its place. Listen, his voice is the rumbling grace. See the lightning through the heavens hole. See the ends of the earth, it will go. Can you hear his thundering voice? When it resounds, you don't have a choice. The universe, in marvelous ways, he lets it snow on rainy days. He will stop you in your tracks, and his creatures stay in their cracks. The tempest burst forth with winds of the north, from water to ice, from clouds on ice. Will this God save you if you cave? His eternal love you will crave. Amen. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Appreciate the songs and the Psalms. Or no, it wasn't Psalm. It was, what was the passage there? Was it Job? Sorry, I did not. I was paying attention. I promise. Just couldn't remember. I was also doing a couple other things over here. But yes, thank you very much, Rochelle. Appreciate it. And yeah, keep requesting some of that scripture. It's much needed during these breaks here. Also, real quick.
Audio production.
I should have thanked Psalm 40 in the last episode, but I will do so now.
In this dark world, he can help you see. Just listen to Psalm 40.
Yeah, he made that rundown intro.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Watch it. Okay, there you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Psalm 40. And sorry about forgetting to thank you on the last episode. There's so much going on when you do solo. There's a lot of moving parts. So apologize for the slip up. But let's move on to some art.
One art, please.
We will start with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And this is accompanied by a haiku. Shell Game. A Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Shell Oil CEO Ben Van Beurden in London at Tuesday Forum. We need government intervention. Tax the rich. Protect the poor. And there's a portrait by Allie of this man, Ben Van Beurden. And this is has to do with an article that they also sent in and from Fortune. Headline, Government Need to Tax People in This Room. Shell's CEO wants corporations to pay to help protect the poorest. Oh boy. Europe's energy shortage is already creating major problems, and it's expected to get even worse as autumn turns into winter. Yeah, and this is another one of those things where you got the stakeholders. Oh, we got to help the poor people, give them money. You know, the thing they don't tell you is how when you do that, when there's a free handout of the kind, compliance is really the trade-off. So, yeah, I don't think this is just kind of giving away the plot there, mister. But yes, Allie's done a great job here portraying Ben Van Beurden. His gray hairs, his combed hair, and his sort of, I don't know, hidden evil look on his face there. And if you zoom in, it's always about the eyes. You clearly see the slithering lizard eyes of Mr. Van Beurden. So thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blaze for the haiku. Appreciate that. All right, next up we have Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And he's a note piece for today's artwork. I made a flyer for Dame Miss G of the OV and Deep Rivers meetup this month in Canada's Ottawa Valley. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you. Yeah, thank you very much. Sir Dove, it's already replaced on the website there at canarycrymeetups.com. And yeah, it's a Dove style art over, I believe this is a photo of Ottawa Valley coffee, maybe. I don't know if it's exactly over it, but yeah, it looks like it is. Canary Cry Canada meetup. It's got a couple maple leaves with some happy faces in there. And then it says Ottawa Valley coffee in our prior. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Our prior. Is that right? Okay. Chat will tell me. October 22nd. That is coming up 2 weekends from now. 1 weekend from now. 2 weekends. Not this upcoming weekend, but the next one. At 11:11 a.m. Bright and early for some of you. Contact Miss G Beauty at missgraceelizabeth@protonmail.com. And yeah, all you got to do is, it's got the the derpy-eyed bird with the, what's the outfit called here? I don't know what the outfit is called. The official maple leaf outfit with the hat. Oh, no. Sorry, people listening. Don't know all the proper names. I don't know what kind of hat. What's the type of hat? Chat, help me out here. What's the type of hat this guy's wearing? This bird. Is it it's not a cowboy hat. It's more like a, it's not a fedora. I don't know. Mountie hat. Is that what that is? Oh, like a mountaineer, maybe? I don't know. He's got the uniform, the red uniform for the Canadians. Rangers hat. That's what it is. A Rangers hat. Thank you, chat. I knew you would come through. Yeah, it's a Rangers hat. That makes more sense. And then, yeah, the outfit too. It's the Ranger costume, sort of the imperial looking with the button up and the collar and the shoulder pads, and then a cross chest belt, as well as a regular belt that goes over. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Forest Ranger. Thank you very much. This is why we need you folks. I don't know all the things. I need help. But appreciate it, Sir Dove. Thank you very much for your contributions. And yeah, the meetups page is updated with the new flyer for this meetup. So thank you very much. All right. We have a microfiction as well. Yes.
Microfiction.
Microfiction.
By Wrong Smash.
Wrong Smash.
Stacy, bruised and bloodied by the raptor like emus, climbed through the window. In the other room, she hears a familiar voice reading an article about an OSU professor stealing a box of ancient Anatolian statue eyeballs. His rant is the perfect cover. This is violent. Wrong Smash is always running into some violent confrontation with all the topics that we cover here. It's just all the craziness coming to life. We get to live vicariously through Wrong Smash's microfictions. So thank you very much, Wrong Smash. Appreciate it. Your continued effort. And did I thank you for under 777? I don't think I did. So I'll do it now real quick. Thank you, Wrong Smash. And you are on a 31 episode streak, I believe. Yes, 31. Thank you very much, Wrong Smash. And thank you to all the producers who came in with their talent. We truly appreciate you providing content. It really is content to the show, and it allows for people to, I think we need more sharing on social media. If you like the stuff you see or the things you hear, we got the mixtape and things of that nature. We're working on it. It's all great content that I think deserves more attention out there in public. So, any case, thank you very much to all the producers. And let's go to our final topic. Do I need to cut off YouTube for this? Man, I don't know anymore because, I don't know. I guess we should lean on the cautious side, but I'm a little bit edgier. Basil's always the one saying like, "Hey, you got to cut it off. Can't talk." But I don't like censoring. Like we're just basically kind of censoring ourselves. But also, it's more because some people on YouTube get upset. They're like, "Oh, you could leave YouTube," huh? But it's kind of like, well, it's something we have to do. It's putting up a shield, because we're being targeted, we're being attacked basically by The heads of YouTube thinking that we're so bad and we're spreading misinfo or disinfo or malinfo, however they want to label it. It's partly something we have to do if we want to keep the channel, because we've had, what is this now, 3 channels taken down, or I guess 2 channels. The Face Like the Sun channel got taken down wrongly. Haven't heard back from that since, still suspended. Our Twitch channel got taken down. Our other Canary Cry radio channel is already taken down. We're already operating on a couple strikes on this channel for Canary Cry News Talk. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a thing that we have to do to sort of stay alive in the main outlets, because they are trying to choke us out. So one thing you can do is go to Rockfin. So yeah, let me put I see it. Put the link in there for Rockfin. That's rockfin.com/CCNT. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, some people saying they don't think that YouTube cares about the jab stuff. Yeah, I hear you. I agree. I agree with you. I tend to agree with you. But I also know that that's just one, I don't know, man. It's just kind of, I mean, it could be argued that everything we talk about every episode is bannable according to them. But anyway. All right, well, if that's the case, sorry, YouTube. I'm going to cut you off. But go to Rockfin. Watch us there. It's just literally one click away.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can find all those links at canarycry.party as well. Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
It's Corona time.
It's Corona time. COVID